Welcome back to another episode of CMC Spotlight. I'm your host, Connor Cavanaugh, and on today's episode, we have 3 state champions from Middletown. And we're going to start off with Chad Hoy over here. You won the 2A, 1A wrestling title, right?
Yep, 2A, 1A.
That's great to hear, man. So congrats on that. Can you walk us through your season? Tell us, were you expecting this?
I was expecting to be on the podium. I didn't know whether or not I'd win it, but I was expecting to do well at states.
That's great to hear, man. So I know the story about the cowboy hat. It's pretty interesting, but what does it mean to you? Is it really just it's for fun? It's to make other people feel good, or is there something else behind it?
Honestly, sophomore year, everybody kind of just started wearing it on the football team because we thought it'd be cool to show up to the playoff games in them, and then I figured I had it. Why not? And that was about it.
So it is kind of just like, just for funsies kind of thing. All right,
pretty much.
That's great to hear. So your record was 38-2, right? So how did those 2 losses affect you, if they affected you at all?
I definitely noticed I started wrestling a lot better after that second loss. It definitely, I don't know, before that I think I went into all my matches with too much confidence, like I couldn't lose. And just knowing that I could definitely made me wrestle different.
All right. So did you face any challenges or have any doubt about your self-worth, going through this entire season? And if you did, how'd you get through it?
Like I said earlier, sophomore year, I went to states and I didn't place at all. I think technically I got like 10th or something. So I wasn't too worried about it because I was just happy to do better than that, just to do better than I did previously and get on the podium. So that was it.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you got there eventually. So with this win, people will be looking up to you, So, what would you say to those people in helping them find their goals or reach them? And then, if they need to find some motivation where there really isn't any, what would you say to those people?
Again, the same thing. Just try and make yourself better than you were before. My goal wasn't to be better than everyone else, just to do better than I did my sophomore season and get better from one year to the next.
All right. So during the pandemic, you probably weren't in school, you weren't in school doing sports. What did you do to keep training, keep fit during that time?
I had to get a little creative because all the gyms here in Maryland were shut down. Mm-hmm. So for a while, I got a big hill in my backyard, and I was just running up and down the hill and push-ups, pull-ups, all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any weight training equipment. And then the gyms opened up in West Virginia first. So we got a membership in West Virginia and drove like an hour every day just to go to the gym. So that's how I got my training in.
I think in a previous interview you said that it was nice having football as a team sport, wrestling as an individual sport. If you had to pick only one to ever do, what would it be and why?
Wrestling, 100%. There's a lot more satisfaction from it for me, knowing that you did something on your own and that was all you.
That's a good point. So what got you interested in wrestling initially?
I wasn't interested in it. I didn't want to get out of shape and fat when football season ended, so I started wrestling to stay in shape, and that was it.
That makes sense to me. So your little brother's on the wrestling team with you, right? Yeah, so during your matches, he's on the sideline or wherever he is watching you. Did that ever really affect, how well you performed? Did it make you go for it more, or did it not really affect you?
It did affect me, not in so much of a motivational kind of way, just, kind of having to show up to your little brother,
Yeah, that makes sense. So thanks again for coming on and answering all the questions. When we come back, we'll have another Middletown State champion for you guys to listen to.
Advanced Floral Design has a wide arrangements to choose from for any occasion. Each arrangement is made with a specific request in mind. Anywhere from corsages to bouquets, Advanced Floral Design is the flower place for you. For more information, email or call today.
Welcome back from the break. Right here I have Heidi Tomlin with me, winner of the state champion 100 breast. How's your afternoon?
It's
or
good.
morning, I suppose.
Good.
So congrats on your state win. Do you want to run us through your season and tell us what it looked like?
Sure. Well, when I started out kind of not going very fast, and then when it got to like the more intense meets, I definitely dropped a lot of time. So it's kind of unexpected winning, but at the same time it wasn't. So.
So you were the only Frederick County public school swimmer to win a state event at all. And this was your first season with any high school sport, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so how does that feel to, to set that bar so high for other swimmers?
Yeah, it was pretty cool to be part of a high school sport because I was always so used to club swimming. So it was really fun to win and be with the team on the bus and stuff. So yeah.
It's good to hear. So what keeps you in the water? Is it the competition? Is it the team? Just what?
I do like competing a lot. I like to win. Obviously, it's fun. Swimming, I quit a year ago, but I've always enjoyed the sport. It's a good workout. It's for any age or whatever. But I've always enjoyed practicing and whatnot. So I've just always had an interest in swimming. I always will. So.
Mm-hmm. So your coach said that they believed you improving your turns, wearing a different suit, being focused on yourself and motivated by your team and coaches that led you to have success at regionals and states. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the suit definitely changed a lot, I think, because it was way tighter and it just made me feel more competitive, like I was in a race. My turns, she did tell me to work on those. I guess I tried. I feel like it comes naturally, my turns, so I didn't really think about it too much. So, yeah, everything, it did help though, yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to add or subtract from that statement, or was it pretty much accurate?
It's not accurate.
Okay. So you did club for a long time, but as of this season, this year, you stopped doing it. And in another interview, you said, pretty much you didn't find it fun anymore. You didn't find it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Is that it, or is there more to that?
I think club swimming for me was just really mentally draining, and I kind of felt burnt out because it's a lot of work, and I've been doing it for so long that I really didn't want to do it anymore. But I thought high school swim would be a good replacement, kind of use my talent that I've had to good.
Yeah. So you were talking about intensity, but then this year you were saying, you kind of just wanted to have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for someone who's looking to get into the sport of swimming or is looking to get better at swimming, would you recommend they do something that you did this year, or do you recommend they do something else?
I would totally recommend doing high school swim just to see the feel of the sport before you go into club, because club is really intense, but also there's other groups, there's less intense groups and there's higher intense groups, so you can really just pick and choose what you want. And
So how do you feel you've personally progressed in the sport of swimming over the last few years? Have you only gotten better? Have you only gotten worse? Have you kind of had a mix of both?
I was getting really good, and then when COVID happened, I had also had surgery, so I was recovering from that plus COVID, so I kind of was getting not good. I had no motivation for it anymore because it was not making me happy. My times were decreasing, So that definitely affected me quitting. And so this time, when I did high school swim, I definitely started the season off worse than I came out. So, yeah.
All right. So you started swimming when you were much younger. And you might not remember, but if you do, can you kind of tell us what was it like in that just first year of swimming?
Yeah, so I was 8. I got into it because my sisters did it really, and I did gymnastics before them, but we got out of that. I remember I actually really loved swimming when I was little. It was super fun. I was with some friends I'm still friends with now, so it's really fun, yeah.
So you brought up your sisters and how they swim. Did you feel, how does that feel kind of coming from a family of swimmers? Did you feel a lot of pressure, or was it, did it kind of felt like you had someone that always had your back with that?
Yeah, it definitely was like stressful because I always felt like I had to like do really good, and they were always, it was good to have them like experiencing the same things, and they were like at the same meets as me and stuff, so it was nice to have their like support and advice. It definitely helped a lot. Yeah.
So the 100 breast, the event that you won the state championship in that, pretty much in that last 25, that last 50, what was running through your mind? Like, were you focusing on technique? Were you thinking of a gold medal? Like, tell us what was going on in that
Yeah.
just that event.
So I had no idea that girl would be so close to me. So like when I turned after the first 50, I saw her like right there. I was like, oh, like crap. I really wanted to win. So I just picked up my tempo and I just kind of went as fast as I can so I could beat her. So yeah, that was intense. Yeah.
You mind telling us what you were thinking before and after that event?
Before I was honestly thinking I didn't have much to worry about, but I was also like, I really need to try because I knew like anything can happen, obviously, because I dropped a ton of time before. Like that's so unexpected. So anyone else could do that as well. So I was nervous, but like all my teammates were cheering me on and stuff, so it was cool. And then after, when I saw that I won, I was just really happy because it was like super close, so it could have gone either way very easily.
So going through all of this, just like your whole swimming career, I suppose, were there any challenges or any moments you felt like, you had a goal, but it was just out of reach?
Yeah, there's definitely many times because I've been to many meets and there's like different time cuts that you need to get to like go to certain meets and stuff like that. So I was either like constantly disappointed or I would like make it, and it just depended on what was happening. But there's definitely many times I was disappointed.
So what would you tell yourself in those moments, knowing everything you know now? Just like, what would you say to your younger self?
I'd probably tell myself to not stress out as much because that type of pressure and like stress doesn't make you do better. It probably makes you do worse, even though you're just thinking about doing good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say not to stress as much because it's really detrimental.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That's all the questions we have for you today.
Cool.
We'll come right back and we'll have our last state champion from Middletown.
Advanced Floral Design has a wide arrangements to choose from for any occasion. Each arrangement is made with a specific request in mind. Anywhere from corsages to bouquets, Advanced Floral Design is the flower place for you. For more information, email or call today.
Welcome back. I'm here with Ava Allen, winner of the state champion triple jump. How's it going?
Good.
It's good to hear. So you got a first, second, and third place finish in different events during the state championship, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how did the rest of your season look? Did you place as well in other meets?
Yeah, in indoor this year, I did the 55-meter hurdles, and in outdoor, I did the 300 hurdles, which is what I got second place in. So I was really excited to just continue hurdles through indoor and to see if I still did as well. And pole vault was the same as just inside, but nothing really changed with that. And since it was inside, there wasn't any like triple jump or long jump or anything, so I didn't really get to practice that at all.
All right. So bunch of different events. How do you have all the time to practice for it?
I don't.
You don't?
I just try and split it up as best I can. I mean, pole vault's definitely my main event, and then I try and fit in everything else and just try and do drills mostly and not as much workouts, because I do my workouts at soccer or just in other sports.
All right. So what got you interested in track and field initially?
I'd always seen videos of pole vault, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And in middle school, I did the Hubie Nolan track meet, and I'd always had fun at those, and I did pretty well at them. So I was like, okay, well, I want to do it in high school since I don't really have a spring sport. So that's just kind of how I started.
What keeps your interest?
Well, I kind of just keep getting better, so I'm like, well, I want to keep with it. And I definitely like it more now than I did in the beginning, just because I like know what I'm doing now, and it's not as like stressful to like think about it. And it's my sport. Like, I play soccer, and that was kind of like, oh, well, my mom put me into that when I was really little, and she played that in high school. But like, this is all my own. Like, none of my other family members do it.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. So what gives you the edge for just like such high placements? You know, is it just practicing and practicing and practicing, or is it like, is there some tradition or something you do before you ever event? Like, what is it?
I just try not think about it, because if I think too much about it, I'll get in my head and I'll just stress myself out. But like, if I just think like, oh, I'm just doing this for fun, like it's not life or death, like it's just something I like to do, and I just keep it that way, and that's just how it happens.
All right. So what would you say to people who want to perform as well as you do? Would you recommend a similar plan to what you do, or something different?
I really would just say don't psych yourself out and don't compare yourself to other people, because especially in high school, there's 4 years, there could be a 4-year difference between you and the person who gets first place. And that's just always something you have to think about, because they've had more pit time or more time to just work out, and they just are bigger than you if they're older than you. And so you just always have to keep that in mind, that you can't compare yourself to them.
All right. Sounds good. So how has your life changed after these, these like high placements? I mean, has it changed at all?
There's definitely, people know who I am, and they'll just like come up and say hi to me at track meets, and I mean, I say hi back. I'm just like, I just don't know who you are. Or like, my friends will be talking to their friends. They'll be like, oh yeah, I know Ava, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And I know some people will definitely, they have something against me, I guess, so they just don't seem to like me. So now, but it's kind of like, okay.
So being an underclassman, what are your plans for the future? Like, are you looking at college yet? Are you looking to stick with Middletown for your next couple of years?
I definitely want to stay at Middletown through high school. I don't want to go somewhere else, because I love it here, and I love my coaches and my teammates. And I want to go to college for track, specifically pole vault, and I have no plans for college yet. I haven't really started thinking about that.
I mean, you've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
So, do you hope to, I assume the answer to this, but do you hope to get better just at track and field?
Definitely.
What are some goals in the near future for track and field?
This season, I definitely want to hit 12 feet for pole vault. I just want to win. I want to win in triple jump and in 300 hurdles. And I also want to try 100 hurdles to see how well I do in that. But my goal is to win in all of them.
All right, that's a good goal. Have you ever plateaued, ever gotten worse? Yeah.
I think going into this indoor season, my PR was 9.6, and I got that last outdoor season during just like a random meet. And then at states in the spring, I placed third with a jump of 9.6. And then going into indoor, I think for the first 2 meets, I jumped 9.6 again, and it just felt like I couldn't get past that height. And then, but then I think I got 10.3 or 10.6, and that was a foot jump. So I was like, okay, well, I feel better now. And then I stayed at that height for a little bit, and then that was also frustrating, but then I just kept, and then I PR'd again, and now I'm at 11, and I PR'd to 11.3, and then now I'm at 11.10.
Nice. What kind of got you through those moments of, I'm not really seeing like a lot of change in my score?
Definitely my coaches, they kept telling me, it was like, it's okay, like, you're not supposed to PR every meet, but I was so used to that because every single meet I would get a new height. And then I would also just think about the bigger picture, and it would be it's kind of insane if I would be PRing by a foot every single meet. Like, that's not a reasonable goal to have. So if you just think about it in the bigger picture, it's like, okay, well, I'm at a good place right now.
So what do you do in the off season? You said soccer earlier, but is there anything, so like soccer, anything else that you do in the off season to stay in shape?
I do competitive cheer in the winter and spring, and soccer is all year round, summer, all the fall, or all the seasons. So I don't really have an off season necessarily. I always have one sport going on. It's just a matter if I have 3 or just 1 or 2.
Do you have free time?
No.
Oh, well, I was going to ask what you do, but it seems like you don't have any.
My free time would just be hanging out with friends, but I don't really consider that free time because it's normally in between sports and practices and games, so it's very jam-packed.
So, considering that you're an underclassman, have you felt like you've been accepted or fit well into like the Middletown team?
Yes, one of my best friends is a senior, and I really didn't know anyone starting out the season last year, but I got really close with all of them once we started like really having practices every day, because I'd just be with them every day for at least an hour and a half. And now I definitely feel part of the team, and we go to hangouts like I'd say like once a week, once every 2 weeks after meets or just after practices, and that's just really nice.
So, best friend, senior, do you look up to your upperclassmen?
Not really, more just because I don't feel like they're upperclassmen. I just feel like they're my friends and we're all kind of the same age, and it's not really like, oh, they're older than me, like they're my role model, because it just doesn't feel like that.
Do you look up to anybody? Just anyone in the world?
Like sports-wise?
Just in general, like.
I don't really know. I've never really thought about it. I mean, I don't really know anyone by name, but like I saw a girl who just PR'd in triple jump and long jump at NCAA. She goes to Florida, so I was like, okay, well, I want to do that. So it's not really just one person. It's more of just like the fact that they did it. I'm like, I want to be like you. Like, I want to be able to accomplish that.
So you're still an underclassman, but because you're performing so well, are you kind of seen as a leader on the Middletown team?
I think in some ways, yes, just like how well I'm doing, like I'm like a figure of like, oh, she wins a lot, like you can win too, but like not like time management wise, because I'm really bad at managing my time between all my events at practice. So
All right. Sounds good. That's all the questions we had for you today. Thank you so much for answering all of them. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. That's all we have for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.